Cinemas can flop for a whole variety of reasons. Sometimes, the fundamental premise of the film is so bad that nothing built on it can possibly hope to succeed. Sometimes, it arrives to a storm of divisive marketing and political pandering that instantly turns off everyone who isn't a blue-haired activist on Twitter. Sometimes, it features a cast so thoroughly uninteresting that it becomes so hard for you to remember that you even saw them on screen. And sometimes, the ego and incompetence of the director causes them to lash out at valid criticisms, galvanizing people's dislike of both them and their movie. And well, sometimes it's just shit, man. But occasionally, a movie will manage to do all of these things simultaneously, and the general response you get is that if you don't like this movie, then you're just a misogynist, or a racist, or a sexist, or a far right-winger, or some new ideological term from the corporate media. So much so that these words have lost their very meaning now. So after a heavy dosage of sugar and caffeine, I decided to meditate on the anthropologies of the critical drinker, some Saturday Night Heights, Eric July's Bison number 3. Turns out they were alright. Now there's a lot to cover here, but for now, I'm gonna be explaining in detail how toxic feminism is ruining modern day filmmaking. The bottom line is always the same. It's either the perfect annoying girl boss or the perfect annoying victim.
We are the victims here.
Take Helena, Ray, Captain Marvel, live-action remake of Mulan, She-Hulk, or Galadriel from Rings of Power. They're just boring, unlikable, narcissistic, or unnaturally good at everything that there's no real reason to watch them in the first place. What is common about all of these characters, you may ask? Well, you guessed it. These characters are poorly written into stories that nobody is interested in. It seems like these writers have never watched a good movie with an actual strong female character in the past 50 years or so. Let's compare two characters for the purpose of this video. You have Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Hi, I'm Cordelia. I'm Buffy.
Who's very feminine, charming, humorous, likable, and natural. She cares for her friends, both male and female, and it doesn't matter their race or ethnicity.
I have to meet my terrible fate.
What?
Biology.
She does not hold back this virtue in exchange for her personal desires. In other words, she is not about self-pity. All she wanted was to give up slaying vampires and move on as a normal kid. But when she was faced with the bad guys endangering her new schoolmates, she had no other choice but to kick ass again. She has good character development. She's not perfect at the beginning, but over the course of time, she learns more and gets better with the help of the old man who is a watcher, and through training and through practice. Now let's take Galadriel from Rings of Power.
Body form. Narrow at the back for comfort. Wider at the front for absorbency. Uniquely shaped for total confidence, even on your heaviest days.
She is masculine, arrogant, narcissistic, constipated, and unlikable.
Let's try not to antagonize these people.
The whole premise of her story is that she is a victim of the worst tragedy ever possible, and that is losing her brother to Sauron.
We are the victims here.
So now everybody has to feel something for her, right? This gives her the license to be hot-headed or leave her companions to die, while she lectures others that they have to feel bad for doing the same thing. Even the Queen Regent of Numenor has to supply her with all her demands. She can insult or belittle every male character she's faced with, even the good guys who mean no harm.
Why, Elrond, you really have become a politician. I'm not some courtier to be placated by idle flattery.
She can kill trolls in less than a minute, while it took an entire fellowship to take down one in the Fellowship of the Ring. She can swim halfway across the ocean, slay anything with one hand tied to her back.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys!
Now take Sarah Connor, Celine from Underworld, Angelina Jolie's Tomb Raider, Ellen Ripley, Black Widow from The Avengers, Michonne from Walking Dead, Arya Stark from Game of Thrones, Cersei Lannister, or Elena Tyrell. These were characters with actual weaknesses, genuine struggles, human emotions, and captivating stories. These were stories written for both men and women to enjoy, and they won their hearts, or at least their butts, at the box office. Modern-day feminist writers or activists have one objective, and that is to crush a non-existent 21st century system in the Western society called the Patriarchy and elevate women to a much higher position above the standards of men. This is accomplished by empowering female characters at the expense of their male counterparts or male characters.
I knew you wouldn't leave me.
Shut up and run.
The message is always the same. Women are either perfect or victims of some sort and don't require any sort of change. Women can beat men in every sphere, even in physical combat. All they need to do is believe in themselves. They have to step out of the bubble of male authority and counsel. A perfect example of this is from movies like Captain Marvel, or even from Game of Thrones Season 7 and 8, where Queen Daenerys is shown to fail every time she takes advice from Tyrion Lannister. She succeeds in taking the capital city by following her own way into war and laying siege, killing almost everyone in the city. The problem with this approach of filmmaking is that most women don't connect with these characters. Every woman has a man who they loved or looked up to, and unlike the spoiled millionaires in Hollywood, women don't really hate men. In fact, most women prefer to watch strong masculine men, the same way how men enjoy feminine and sexy women. Moreover, women connect with female characters that are flawed, broken, or emotional, unlike the perfect Mary Sue that is just annoying. The thing that makes it really interesting about any character is how they have to overcome their struggles. Whether through rigorous training or mentorship from an experienced character, nobody outside the bubble of social media is interested in smashing patriarchies. The movie Girls vs. Boys from 2012 was a shit movie, but there was one thing this movie made me realize, and that is, if you smash all the men in the world, then you're all but left with killing each other, because that's where this social movement is gonna end. It's just constant blaming. When they run out of men to hate, they just turn against each other.
We are being victimized by a very greedy entity.
Brie Larson and most writers who make films with an agenda claim their movies are not made for men.
I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for him.
However, the biggest flaw here is that even women don't seem to like it either. The box office numbers prove the results in reality, even if you can hide the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
Gotcha, bitch!
Take any modern feminist-driven movie or series. Take the new Star Wars, for example. The only series that actually gained viewership was Andor, which was the only good series that didn't contain an agenda. If you watch the Ahsoka trailer from the Tales of Jedi before watching Kathleen Kennedy's version from the Ahsoka series, that will tell you how far Hollywood has strayed from their audience. I'm sure you would have noticed the agenda from Disney Plus trailer. And I have to admit, the Force is not gonna be female, but rather dead if this company doesn't make good box office in 1 year, cause more and more people, both male and female, are waking up to the double standards. Disney had a good female character called Cara Dune, played by Gina Carano, who is an actual female martial artist. That is until they cancelled and removed her from the show. Why, you may ask? Because of using the wrong pronouns on her personal Twitter account, which shows you can be a strong woman against a system that died 50 years ago, but not the one at present.
I wouldn't hashtag trans rights, and I wouldn't put my pronouns in. Like, they kept on it pressuring, and finally I just said, I'm not doing this, you know, like, I'm not, like, what are the pronouns? I didn't even know what people were talking about. I was just not clued in to the pronouns thing.
I am shocked by the way the people that we have been in business with are treating us. I cannot believe it, quite frankly. How far apart we are on so many things.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
Yet Disney hired former Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant, Leslie Headland, to write, direct, and produce the Star Wars series Acolyte, if this doesn't help you folks to understand why YouTubers like The Drinker, Nerdrotic, Mauler, and countless others are calling out on this bullshit, I don't know what will. Anyway, think I gotta go now. Gonna watch that Barbie movie for you folks.
So long, gay boys.